Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Prepping on the creek here, and I have something that was sent to me by EasyLonger, and this is a very small but powerful power bank. Okay, it's all DC. It's mainly what they market it for is for CPAP use, and it'll do a good job of that. I don't use a CPAP. I don't have one. But what it's designed to do is work with multiple types of CPAP machines, but I'm also going to show you some other ways that can use this, because it's also designed to use for camping, and I'm going to show you some ways that you can use it to help supplement some of your other power stations. So what you get with it is the power bank. It's they call it a 7200 milliamp hour, but on the back here, I know you won't be able to see that, so I'll read it to you. It is a 266.4 watt hour lithium ion battery, and they get the 72 milliamp hours by going at 3.7 volts to 72,000 milliamp hours. But the battery pack capacity at 11.1 volts at 24,000 milliamp hours is 266 watt hours as well. So I did a capacity test on it. We'll show that to you later in the video. We put it on a solar panel, and we'll show that to you later in the video, because this can be charged by solar. But what you get is the power bank. You get an AC charger, user's manual, a USB-C cord, a 5521 cord, a USB-C to USB-A, and you get all the charging tips, and these will help you with could help you with laptops, could help you with CPAP machines and that type of thing. So, and you also get a neoprene carrying case that does have a belt loop where you could actually put this thing on your belt, and it's very nice as well. So that's what all comes with it. So we'll look and see what the ports are. You got two ports, a USB-A over here, and it says it can go as high as 22 watts. It's 5 volts, 4.5 amps, 4.5 volts to 5 amps, 9 volts at 2 amps, that's 18 watts, and then 12 volts at 1.5. So it varies. It'll charge just about anything you have, phones, portable speakers, tablets. You can even run lights, USB lights and fans off of that port. And then you got a USB-C over here that is an 18 watt port. Okay, and this is output only, and it does cover them up very nicely. And then the center port, it has a 5521 and a USB-C. Now, the USB-C and the 5521 are both input and output. You can charge by AC through there. You can charge by solar panel through the 5521. And the voltage is varied on the 5521. You have 4 different voltages that you can set the output to on the 5521. Not the input, but the output. And this comes in handy for CPAP machines where they range in voltage. So this one goes 12 volts, 16.5, 20, and 24 volts. So you can set the 5521 to 4 different voltage output settings. And then the USB-C power delivery is a straight 60 watts in, 60 watts out. And you can charge it through that port, or you can output 60 watts through that port. So those are really nice ports, and we'll go over the 12, the 16, and the 20, the 24 later. But like I say, mainly those are used for CPAPs, but I'm going to show you another way that these can be advantageous for some of your, if you out there that might have multiple power stations. And then you have a 12 volt, 15 amp cigarette lighter port. This is not regulated, okay? It is not a regulated port, but it is a very nice port to have. Again, you can run lights, you can run some different things. You can even plug a small inverter off of there because it goes 12 volts, 15 amps. You can get 180 watts out of that port. It also has a 10-watt wireless charger for charging your phones. Now the light on it is right here. It's on the end. If you hold it for 2 seconds, it'll come on red. If you hold it for 2 seconds, it'll go off. If you double click, you'll get the bright. One more click will give you dim. It'll go back bright. If you double click, it'll go off. So that's how you turn the operation on. How you operate these two ports over here, the USB A and the USB C, you just press that button here. It's the right one, my right, and the screen light will come on. You don't have to worry about turning it off. It'll time out when it senses nothing on there, so it'll shut off automatically if there's nothing on. Now the wireless port is controlled by that same button too, and I'll see if I can hold this up here. Yep. And I got a cover on, and with the cover you got to get it right, but there you see it charged. I'll take it off and show you again. There. So it's charging my iPhone right now, but you just have to turn this on, press it, and that green light will come on, and then those ports are active. So that takes care of those. The operation for the two ports here is controlled, well, let me correct myself. The USB-C will plug it there and plug it in. And there the Jackery is now actually is outputting. Let's see if we can get it to do the reverse. And now it's taking a charge. So this you just really have to plug it in, the USB-C. But the 5521, to charge it with the AC adapter, and we'll just go ahead and show you that as you plug it in, and then we'll use our Jackery again to charge it. And we'll give it a second. You see you got the system is 4 bars that are right here, and this bar on this side, if you can see, is flashing, so that means it's charging. And we're trying to see what it's going to get up to. It takes it a second to get up to speed. It is charging, and right now, if you can see the Jackery, it's taking in 29 watts. And there it's up to 34, so see, it's taking it a little bit to get up to what it will charge at. There's 42. And that looks like that will be the max that you're going to be able to get with the AC wall charger, about 43 to 45 watts. There's at 46. Okay, so there's your AC charging. Now you can charge faster through the USB-C port, because it'll charge at 60 watts, and we'll try to replicate what we just did by plugging the USB-C right there. You cannot dual charge with this, just so you know. And now the Jackery, if you can see, is charging at, outputting 50 some watts, around 57, 58 watts. It's coming from the Jackery into here, so we're charging at a higher rate. And then again, you can turn around and output the same 60 watts. So that's the ways you can charge that, is USB-C, 5521 through the car adapter. Now the other thing is, and I show this later in the video, is the solar charge. Now here's what's really nice about this, is it will take you can charge this with a 100-watt solar panel, and it can take in as much as 80 watts through solar. So that's going to be your fastest charging method, is through a 100-watt solar panel, and it can take in 80 watts of solar. And again, like I say, we'll show that later on. But the voltage operation, the way that you change it is you hold this button here on the left down. It'll start flashing, and right now it's on the 12. And then you cycle to where you want it to go. So we're going to go back to 12, and what will happen is you wait. That light will stop flashing and it will burn solid. And there it is. So now we're outputting 12 volts from the 5521. Now, to change it, you're going to have to hold it down once to turn it off, and then hold it again until it starts flashing. And there it goes. Now it's flashing again. And if we want to output 16 watts, say you have a CPAP machine that needs a higher volts, excuse me, I said watts but I mean volts, and then you are set now to 16.5 volts. And then again, the method for changing it is to hold it down again. It will shut completely off, and when you turn it on every time, it sets itself to 12 volts, so it has a fallback. No matter what it was previously, it'll always come back to 12 volts. And there you see the 12 volts flashing. Cycle it over, now we're at 20 volts. Okay, and then again it'll burn solid once it sets itself. There, we're set at 20 volts, and we're going to shut it off just by holding it down. These lights will go out. Okay, and then I'm going to show you some ways that you can use these, you know, not just for CPAPs but for other ways. But what we're going to do now, we're going to stop the video, get some stuff together, and plug some items into it. Okay, I already got it turned on, but you just press this green button, or excuse me, this button here, and this green light will come on. And we're going to plug the speaker in. You should, oh, shut off, let's turn it back on. There, you heard it click. And we're going to plug this one in. Now remember guys, this is a shared port. So you can see the light is flashing, that it is charging. And then the same thing with this one. They are both charging. But watch what happens if I try to plug something in that pulls a little more voltage. Okay, this is charging, but I can't turn my light on. It's pulling too much because this port is shared, you know, the output. So when I say this one's 18 watts and this one can go up to 22 watts, well, it can, but they share that wattage together. So let's unplug this, and now watch. So I can plug my light in. So if you're plugging two small items in, like a cell phone, couple Bluetooth speakers, they'll both charge, but you won't be able to charge if you're running a light or a fan or something like that. You could just use one because it's going to max out what that port's available at. So that's good to know. Then I plug this back in. This one should charge. Can't get the light to come on. Let's unplug it, plug the speaker back in. And they both kicked on again. Okay, so there you go. That's how you can use those ports right here. Now these are just typical ports for small items anyway. Okay, so well, we can leave them plugged in because they will. Let's leave them plugged in, and we're going to plug the power delivery port up and charge our computer at the same time. And all you do with it is plug it in, turn that back on, and we are getting a charge. It is showing that we're charging. So we're charging from 60 watts into our laptop through the USB power delivery port. So it's taking it out, going into the computer, and charging it up. So that's another good thing that this can be used for. Okay. And now what we're going to get into next is going over how this thing and how I'm going to use it and what I'm really excited about what this thing can do. So USB items, you can charge them. Just remember this port's shared, so you can't go over a certain amount of watts, or it's only going to output one. And what this did was it did not output the USB-C, or excuse me, the USB-A when I tried to turn this light on. So just remember that that's a shared port. The USB-C power delivery port has nothing to do with those two. It's a separate circuitry, so it will be fine. And so is the 5521. It's separate from the USB-C, but you cannot dual charge. You cannot output and or input to both of these ports, and you cannot charge and use the USB-C port either. So on these two ports there is no pass-through. You can't charge through the 5521 and output through the USB-C, or input through the USB-C on those middle two ports. So just know you can pass through charge if you have, and we'll just show that. Let's go over here to our jackery. We're going to unplug this. Let's see if we can. Well, let's use our EB3A because we don't have to worry about which one's going to take precedent. So we're going to output. Let's give it a second. There. Now we're charging at 60 watts. 54 watts is coming in from the EB3A. So if we try to charge, I'm just showing you that the dual charging will not work. We turn that on, we're still getting 54 volts coming from the EB3A, but we're not getting anything from the 5521. So let's show you that you can't dual charge, or excuse me, pass through charge, because we're charging our laptop. It's showing it's charging. We're going to plug our 5521 in. We're just going to move this up, use our jackery, and we're plugged into power. And we're going to give it a second just to make sure. Right now it's showing 4 watts. That is still showing a charge. So while we're charging, it will not let us use the 5521. So while this is outputting, it will not charge. Okay, so you can't pass through charge. That's all I wanted to really show you on that. And then what we'll do, we'll pause here for a second, get set up, and I'll show you how to use these to benefit a power station. Okay, before we get into going over the 4 different voltages, I did want to show you one other thing real quick. Is this little Blendjet. If you take something like this camping with you, this thing is rechargeable. Turn it on, you can see. So you can charge something like this for camping purpose. It's a small item that you can dump in a bag, and I just wanted to show that too, because those are versatile ports. You just have to remember, and what we've learned is that they share the output wattage, so you just have to remember that. And then the other thing I wanted to show you too before we get into that is the cigarette lighter port. And this is not a regulated port, so you can't run a portable refrigerator, because what happens is it'll time out. It has to sense voltage outputting all the time, or drawing on it all the time, or it'll kick off. I tried to run my Bouge RV with it and did run it, but when the compressor kicked off, and it didn't kick off or kick back on before the EasyLonger timed out. So a way around that would be an inverter. The nice thing about this cigarette lighter port is that it will output 12 12 volts at 15 amps. So I'm going to show you. This is just a little cheap Bestech inverter. It's a 150 watt inverter, and it makes a lot of noise. I don't know if you could hear it, but there it is on. The green light's on. It actually even has a couple USB ports that you can use. So I'm going to plug this inverter in, and I could run a portable fridge that way, and because this is drawing constantly, it shouldn't shut off. But what I did want to show you, I think part of this TV is in the picture. Let's wait for it. Yeah, let me hit it again. It didn't come on. Okay, there we go. It will run a refrigerator, and I have it on something where we don't get any copyright violations, but you can see that the TV is on, and I am running this 42-inch TV off of this right here through the cigarette lighter port with an AC adapter that I have, and it's just a 150 watt adapter, because this will output up to 180 watts. So I thought that was kind of neat. I'm sitting here running my TV off of this. Okay, that's one other thing, and now I want to get into the voltages. We'll turn this off and get set up for that. Okay, I got 3 different power stations right here, and what I have here is a battery. I mean, this is a 266 watt hour battery, and this could actually extend the life of a smaller power station. Like I have a Jackery here, a Blue Eddy EB3A, and I have an EB55. This is a little over 500 watt hours. This is around 268, and this is at 297, I believe. So they're all smaller power stations, the EB55 being the biggest one, but this one has a 700 watt inverter. This has a 600 watt inverter. This has a 300 watt inverter. And say I have a power outage, or even if I'm just camping and want to run that portable refrigerator that I really can't run because on this one, unless I use an inverter, because it's going to time out, but I need it to run longer than maybe what this Jackery will do. Well, I can use this to increase the watt hours of this Jackery. So what I'm going to show you is how these voltages changing can help you. And we showed you how to change them, so what we're going to do is we're going to turn it on, and we're going to go to 12 volts. We're going to wait for it to settle. Alright, now if I'm running, say, a Bouge RV, all I have to do is drop this middle port down, drop this in, plug it in. Now it does come with these adapters, and there's an 8mm in here that will fit a Jackery. So we plug our 5521 in, and now we're transferring power over to our Jackery at 38 watts. So if you're on eco mode on most refrigerators, you're going to be around that. So this Jackery now, instead of being, I'm just going to say 300 watt hours, is now over 560 watt hours power station. So we just increased our capacity of our Jackery by adding this EasyLonger to it. So you can use it as basically a battery extension pack, a battery capacity pack that can make the Jackeries, the EB3A or EB55, run longer. And we're, like I say, pulling in about 38 watts. That's about what a portable refrigerator would pour in, or pull from it. So let's say we're not running a refrigerator, we're running something else, but we want to charge at a higher rate. Let's reset our EasyLonger to a higher voltage. So we're going to go to 20 volts. So you can see it flash there. We're going to let it stop, and there it's, nope, still flashing. There it stopped. Okay. Now let's plug it into our jackery and see what happens. Now we're charging at 85 watts. So we're dumping a little bit more power in at a faster rate. So that's what I love about this, is I can change the voltage settings and dump power and extend the battery life of one of these smaller power stations that already has an AC inverter built in. So if I wanted to take that same TV, and let's do that, we're going to plug it in here to the AC adapter. Get our remote. Sorry, I wish I would have kept that over here, but I didn't. So we're charging at 86 watts. Come on. My remote not working. Battery's getting low. There we go. Now it's going to come on, and we're going to see how many watts we're pulling. So now we have it set to 20 volts. We're drawing 84 watts from the EasyLonger, and we're outputting 63. And I don't know if you can see that or not on the screen, but that's what it's doing. So you can change the voltages on these and increase how many watts are going in. Now the EB3A and the EB55 is a little bit different. They won't take the 12 volts. You have to at least be on 16 and a half for them to work in the testing I've done, you know, that it, before I started filming this. So we will show you that and go from there. Okay, we have the EB3A set at 16 and a half volts, and it's bringing in 82 watts right now. So there you go. You can transfer power from here to here just by changing the voltages. It worked out really well. So I'm going to unplug that, and now I'm going to show you the primary way I'm going to use that. I just thought that was interesting that I could change voltages for different power stations. The EB55 is the same way, so I'm not going to rehash that. But let's look at the USB-C charging. Now this is a cord that does not come with the EasyLonger. I'm going to shut everything off. But this is a USB-C power delivery capable of 100 watts with a 5521 on the other end. So I can plug my USB-C into there, grab the 8mm adapter, plug it into my jackery, and then see the blue lights coming on. Now we're just transferring at a straight 59 watts. That's the easiest way to do it, and that's probably how I'm going to use this. Is now I've just added 266 watt hours to my jackery through the power delivery port. Same thing with the EB3A. You can see it. There we go, we're getting 58 watts into it. Now, actually says we're pulling in about 68. I don't think this will work this way with the EB3A, we'll see. No. What we have to do with it is use the 5521. Let's bring it over here and let's turn it on, and let's put it on 16 and a half. Wait for it to settle in. And we'll plug it in right there. Give it a second. Now you can see we're dumping 80 watts from the EasyLonger into this. So that's how I'm going to use it. That's what I'm excited about. But it's also something that I've actually had this for a couple weeks, and I've taken it to work with me every day just for charging my phone, where I can just set it down and plop my phone down on it. Don't have to worry about taking any cords or anything like that, and I can charge my phone wirelessly. But in emergency situations, though, this is how I would probably do it. I would take and power dump from the EasyLonger into one of these power stations to increase their battery capacity. Okay, so it's a very nice product. It does its job. I really like it, and like I say, you can use this thing for camping, for CPAPs, for extending battery capacity and things like that. Okay guys, I'm going to show you how you can charge the EasyLonger with a solar panel. Now the solar panel I'm going to use is my Van Powers 100 watt solar panel. And yes, I said 100 watt because you can charge this EasyLonger with a 100 watt panel. And it will actually take in up to 80 watts. So you just flip this down right here. You got your USB-C, and then there's your 5521. So we're going to take the cable for the 5521 and put it in there. Let's get this in the shade. And it's charging. There you go. Took it a minute to recognize what it was, and you can see that bar flashing. Now, downside, I wish you had a display where it could show how many watts. Now, if I had a 5521 to MC4, used a different panel, I could display the watts, but irregardless, this will take 80 watts. And you can, as you can see with it flashing there, you can use a 100 watt solar panel. Okay, we've started a capacity test on the EasyLonger ES720. We're doing it at 12 volts, 5 amps. Pulling 58, almost 59 watts right now. We'll let it run and see what we get. Okay, we have finished the capacity test. 216.01 watt hours out of a possible 266.4 for a total of 81%. The test took 3 hours and 39 minutes. So 81%, not bad, not the best. Like to see around 85, but the way this power pack is configured, it's, you know, having to boost the voltage. So really it's not bad at 81%. Alright guys, let's give our final thoughts on the EasyLonger 72,000 milliamp hour power pack. I like it. There's a lot of different ways that you can use it. Let's go over some negatives first off. I wish it had a LCD screen. I think they had room probably for one right here, small one. It didn't have to give us a lot of information, but I think it would have made it a little bit easier. And the buttons can be a little bit hard to work with, where you have to hold it down to change the voltages and things like that, and then turn it back off and turn it back on. But again, those are just nitpicky things on my end. Wish this was a regulated output, but again, on a power bank this size, I guess that might be asking for a little too much. But you can run an inverter off here to power a portable refrigerator if you wanted to try that. That's pretty much the negatives that I had on it, was those two things. Just would like to have seen a little LCD screen and the buttons be a little bit easier to work with. Positives, this thing will take a 100 watt solar panel. It'll take in 80 watts of solar, as you've seen us hook it up to a 100 watt portable solar panel, and it handled it real good. It was charging it. There was no way for me to display exactly how many watts that it was getting in, but it was charging with that. And I've charged it several times over the last couple weeks with that same solar panel, and I know it's probably getting, you know, close to that 80 watts input, because I was doing it on sunny days, just like what you saw in the video. So that's a big thing, a 100 watt solar panel that you can hook up to this little power bank. like the wireless charging. If I was nitpicking, I'd like it to be 15 watts instead of 10, but 10 watts for me is fine, because what this thing has been going to work with me for the last couple weeks, and not only am I charging my phone with it, but some of the buddies at work are plugging their phones into these two ports right here, and you can even charge your phone with the power delivery port, because it's going to regulate how much watts your phone's getting anyway. So this will definitely replace those smaller 20,000 milliamp hour power packs. It's a little bit bulkier, but you can charge a lot of phones with this. So I like it. I like the way the light is. The way I'm using it is I'm basically taking that 266 watt hours and increasing the capacity of these power stations. So you tell me what you think about it. The price, I think I saw it on Amazon, it was $199. They usually have a 15 or 20% coupon with it. I'll try to put some links down there in the bottom if you're interested in anything like this. But it's not just for CPAPs. It's not just for a standalone product. You can use it in conjunction with some of your other power stations. So tell me what you think about it. If you have any questions, something I didn't answer about it, let me know down in the comments below. I appreciate all the viewership that I get from you guys. Keep watching. If you could like and subscribe to the channel, that really helps me to grow. We're getting close to 1,000 subscribers, so help me get over that hump, and I appreciate it. Like, subscribe, leave some comments down below, and have a blessed day.